The Pokemon anime just dropped the most utterly absurd bombshell of all time. They revealed something about Friede that no one saw coming, something that could change the entire course of Pokémon Horizons. And on top of that, we got the moment we've all been waiting for one of Dot's Pokemon too. There is an insane amount to talk about, so be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy. And now let's dive into my review for Pokémon Horizons, episode 120. So the episode began with Dot and Penny heading to the Exceed Museum to steal data about the Laqueum, and they're both wearing disguises. I must admit, seeing Dot in an outfit like this was hilarious. It's so not her, and you can tell by the look on her face. But man, she really must have graduated from the Team Rocket School of Terrible Disguises, because she didn't even try and cover her face at all. It's so clearly still Dot to anyone who's ever seen her. For a second, I thought we got a brief cameo from Hop too in the museum, but it turns out it's just Hop from Temu. Crazy how similar they both look though. I think it'd be kinda cool if the anime was more willing to hide tiny character cameos here and there, just in the background, you know, even if it's not significant. Anyway, there's a suspiciously large focus on Gimmighoul's coins at the start of the episode, so yeah, we all probably know where this is heading, right? So Dot and Penny head into the museum, passing by this receptionist who weirdly looks like a totally different art style, and then they hid as the museum closed. Now I don't know what's going on in the Pokemon world, but what kind of museum doesn't have guards or employees sweeping every area to make sure everybody is left before locking up? Especially a museum with important private confidential data on Laqueum. It's like the explorers are begging to be stolen from, dude. So Dot and Penny hack into the CCTV cameras to hide themselves, and then when they bump into the three guard Pokemon, a quick Aqua Cutter, Disarming Voice and Brutal Swing defeats all three of them with no effort expended at all. Some guard dogs, man. I can't hate on them too much, because they're adorable. But come on, surely Exceed could have afforded better guards than that. Why is Exceed's security always so terrible? So Amethio's dad remotely activates a private elevator giving him access to the server data room, but Gimmighoul ends up sneaking away to find coins. Our heroes hack into the data and download it while Indy and Rubella head there to stop them, but little Gimmighoul ends up bumping into Indy and Rubella, possessing them to collect coins for it. That's the funniest thing of all time, man. What a little trooper. I know he probably just wanted more coins, but he did keep the enemies busy. However, all of their paths do cross soon after, and then Chouse appears before them too. Chouse sends out her two Pokemon, followed by Indy and Rubella sending out their Drapion and Scolipede, and wow, those are two powerful Pokemon for two glorified grunts. They don't quite keep up the red and blue theme as well as their previous Pokemon did, unfortunately. But anyway, the explorers use Strong Spheres to power up their Pokemon, and I say power up, but let's be real here. Strong Spheres genuinely suck now, dude. They're not a power up at all. I feel like when Strong Spheres were first introduced and early on in Mega Voltage, the Strong Spheres and Laqueum Enraged Pokemon genuinely felt unstoppable and horrifying and dangerous. But over time it feels like the writers have kind of stopped bothering with that, you know? Because now when Pokemon are powered by Laqueum, yeah, they glow pink and look angry, but they don't feel any stronger at all. What happened to the Strong Spheres genuinely feeling threatening? I guess you could argue that maybe it's just that our heroes are getting stronger, but in that case I think the presentation of that has been pretty ineffective, because it more just feels like the Laqueum powered attacks have way less impact. I will say though, I thought it was really impressive that when Indy and Rubella used poison-type attacks, Dot's Tinkaton used her hammer to block them, since as a steel-type she's immune to them, which opened up opportunities for them to hit back hard. And dude, that's exactly what I want to see from our heroes. I don't want to see them just overpower the Laqueum or Strong Spheres by brute strength, because all that does is make the Laqueum look weak. I want our heroes to have to use strategies and skills and their brains to overcome it, because then it really emphasizes that our heroes excel through their connection with their Pokemon, whereas the Strong Spheres fail because they sever that connection. Anyway, Chouse takes Gimmighoul hostage, which is so insane by the way, and she does it to lure Dot in, so then she can activate a wall to separate Dot and Penny. Now Dot is stuck with Chouse and Penny is stuck with Indy and Rubella, and it was utterly genius for Chouse to separate them in that way, because now Indy and Rubella's poison types don't have to deal with being blocked by Dot's steel type Tinkaton. This is what I love to see from intelligent characters like Chouse. So Penny begins battling Indy and Rubella, and meanwhile Dot's Quaxwell tries to buy time for Tinkaton to charge up a Gigaton hammer. However, Xatu teleports in front of Tinkaton, luring in Quaxwell's low kick and then teleporting away at the last second, resulting in Quaxwell smashing into Tinkaton. The way that Chouse turned Dot's own Pokemon against each other to stop Tinkaton's Gigaton hammer from charging up, that was really impressive. Chouse is popping off in this episode so far. Tinkaton then goes for Brutal Swing, but Xatu hits the Power Swap at the last moment, switching their attack stats around. Now Tinkaton doesn't even have the strength to lift her own hammer, while Xatu uses her newfound stolen muscles to hit Tinkaton hard. Once again, a genius play from Chouse. She even follows up on the surprise of that with her Medicham axe kicking Quaxwell. Dot is being destroyed, dude! And although Gimmighoul tries to jump in the way to help, Xatu uses the moment to steal Dot's phone with all the Laqueum data on it. So yeah, it looks like Dot has lost. Quaxwell and Tinkaton are down, her phone has been stolen, she's been outplayed at every turn, but then suddenly she connects with Gimmighoul, and she thinks it needs just one more coin. So while Gimmighoul distracts him, she dives away and grabs the closest coin, and she flings it to Gimmighoul with such passion and drive. And then she watches in awe as Gimmighoul begins to glow bright, man! That was the 999th coin it needed. Gimmighoul evolves into Gholdengo like an absolute Chad. And immediately Gholdengo, with an unfathomable amount of aura, he just nonchalantly steals Dot's phone back, then he saves Dot's Pokemon, then he takes Dot's Surfing away, and then he uses his new Make It Rain move to smash through the wall. Penny has casually defeated her opponents by now too, so the two of them hop on their new golden Uber and escape the museum with all of the data. And dude, the way they blasted through the window with such swag and aura with the moon behind them, that gave me major Persona 5 vibes, where Joker pretty much did the same thing. You guys already know I'm gonna find a way to bring up my favourite franchises in every video, okay? So Dot and Penny then part ways, and man, I really appreciate them even more as a duo now. And then Dot reunites with our heroes and catches them up on everything, and they take to the sky in the Brave Olivine airship. But then, while Dot is reading the data that she stole, she suddenly gets a call from Friede. Yeah, I'm talking the Friede. Dot is absolutely stunned as Friede tells her that he's heading to him now, but not from anywhere she could expect, because Friede is heading to them from outer space. Yeah, I'm talking the outer space. I am lost for words right now, man. I can't believe it. There is so much to say about all this in a second. But yeah, that's where the episode ended. Where do I even begin? First of all, Friede being in outer space. We have to talk about that before I talk about the rest of the episode. I think Friede being in outer space all this time is one of the most random, wild, out there ideas the anime has ever had. It is utterly insane, dude. Not a single person saw that coming. The reactions to this reveal have been insane. Everyone's in disbelief because of how bold it is. We all knew Friede's return was going to be a crazy grand climactic moment, but him blasting down from space is never what any of us expected. That's going above and beyond. But I love the implications of Friede being in space all along, dude. We know that Laqueum is a substance that came from another planet, so the idea of Friede maybe stealing a spaceship from Exceed and then traveling to space to try and find the source of Laqueum, to maybe try and help him figure out what it truly is and how to stop it forever. That would be so cool, man. It would take his character to a whole nother level, and it would finally make him feel like a professor, which is something he's kind of lacked in this series in my opinion. I can't wait to hear all of Friede's stories about where he's been and what he's done and what he saw in outer space when he returns next week. And man, it's really dawning on me now that Friede is actually coming back after so long of waiting. I have a lot of thoughts on that, which I'll save for another video. So one of the main highlights of today's episode for me was Chouse's absolutely genius strategies. She genuinely ran laps around Dot and really felt like a threat, and Dot herself is intelligent, so you know how good Chouse is. And even when Dot's Gimmighoul evolved, Dot knew it probably wouldn't be enough to defeat Chouse still, so instead she focused on a strategic retreat escaping with the data. I really love the approach that the explorers don't always have to be defeated by our heroes. If that happened every time, they would feel even more puny and weak than they're already starting to feel. Sometimes it's right for our heroes to realise they're simply outclassed, and to just focus on escaping instead. That was executed really well here. And about Gholdengo, I do wish we got a couple more focus episodes on Gimmighoul before it evolved, because this did feel very fast to me, maybe a little too convenient too, and definitely exacerbated by 3 evolution episodes in a row, but I really can't deny that this was an insanely cool evolution, man. It was so fun and such a cool moment. I love that Gholdengo did it to save our heroes, and everything about it just felt so stylish. So yeah, overall, this was a really great episode. It made me appreciate Dot and Penny's bond way more. I love how it ended up for Gholdengo. Chouse was handled really well, and with a cliffhanger like Friede in space. Man, I've never been more excited for the next episode. Let me know your thoughts on episode 120 in the comments below, and feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the review. Thank you so much to all of my incredible channel members, everyone appearing on screen right now, including Shiny Charm, Jay, Poke-san, Shareborn, Melissa, Hope, Not Mini, just Cascadia Fizz. I really appreciate you guys, I really do. And yeah, on that note, thank you all so much for watching, and best wishes until we meet again!